Welcome back to my channel. This is Bench Talks, Bench in the Woods. So, I'm going to be talking about our first proper RV trip that we took in the winter of 2019. The story is called The Thick Fog and the White Rabbit. So we start going on our adventure, and we leave Texas and we start going towards Connecticut. So everything is fine. We get to rural Mississippi and we're gonna stop for the night. So we look at the GPS, and I'm looking at the GPS and I see, oh, there is a truck stop right off of the highway. We're gonna stop for the night and just boondock. So we get off of the exit, and it was not right off of the highway. It was down this really windy road in the middle of nowhere, and the truck stop was nowhere to be found. So we get to a point where the road is getting so narrow and the fog is so thick we can't really see, and James hits a spot where he can no longer safely maneuver the truck while hauling the RV. So he stops abruptly and says, "Everybody out of the car." So I pick up Callie. She has no shoes on, and my father-in-law gets out, and my husband gets out, and my dog gets out. So he's freaking out. He's like, I think it's gonna flip. So he makes us all get out of the car. But the weather is at this point just a little chilly, but the fog is so thick you can't even see your hand in front of your face, and plus it's really dark outside. So we all get out, and somehow he maneuvered the truck while hauling the RV safely to a spot where we could get back on a main road. So the tires of the truck were inches away from the ditch, and we have a lifted Ford F-250 with off-roading tires. So these tires are massive, and it was inches away from going in the ditch. So he got us back on the road, and at this point my father-in-law is like, I'm gonna jog in front of the truck and lead the way, because we couldn't see anything. James has his high beams on, and we still can't see because the fog is so thick. So he starts jogging in front of the truck. Now I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, this man is 65 years old and he's jogging. And I'm telling my husband, I'm the youngest one here. I feel bad. I think I'm gonna jog with him. So I tell him, if you're jogging, I'm jogging. Now, meanwhile, I have to pee so bad. And I didn't want to pop a squat in the tall grass, because who knows what is lurking in the tall grass. It could be a snake, it could be whatever, I don't know. So I don't want to get bit by anything, so I just held it, so hoping that we would get somewhere soon. So I start jogging, and we get a mile down the road, and all of a sudden this white blur just runs in front of me. Now remember, I can't see anything in front of me, and this white blur just runs in front of me, scares the crap out of me, and I peed my pants because I was so scared. So I tell my father-in-law, I'm going back to the truck, I can't run anymore, I just peed myself. And so he's like, okay. And so I go back to the truck, and I tell James, oh my God, I just peed myself, I need to change my clothes. And he's like, well, it's not safe to do it right now, you're gonna have to wait to change your clothes until we stop. And so I just wrapped my sweatshirt around me and just hoped for the best, and waited until we could stop safely to change my clothes. So my father-in-law eventually comes back to the truck, and he's like, a possum was chasing that rabbit that scared you. And I was like, great, I'm so glad that I did not So a white dog just scared the crap out of me in the woods. He just came up to us.
Wait.
He just came up to us and we were like out of nowhere, scared us.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay, it's fine. I just wasn't expecting. So anyways, you know, I was so glad that I didn't pop a squat in the tall grass, because who knows, you know, there could be a possum in there. So so anyways, so he keeps jogging and we're, you know, trying to figure out where to go from here, because we don't know where we are. We're in rural Mississippi in the middle of nowhere. So suddenly this truck kind of shows up out of nowhere, and with two guys in it, and was like, you know, do you guys need directions? Are you okay? Like, you know, what's going on? And so my father-in-law told them the whole story, and he gave us directions back to the highway. And I really think it was a God thing that these people showed up kind of out of nowhere, and they kind of, you know, were there and then just kind of like, you know, left and kind of disappeared. So it was, I'm so thankful that these two men were there and that we were able to finally get back to the highway to get to a really sketchy gas station where we stopped for the night and we boondocked. But I mean, it was better than being in the middle of nowhere or flipped over in a ditch. So we were able to hook up our generator and we had heat for the night, which was nice. They had really horrible coffee at the gas station, but better than nothing. And I was able to kind of baby wipe up because we didn't have hookups to water or anything. So it was just kind of like just stopping for the night and then heading out the next morning. I mean, though it was, you know, sketchy, we were safe. You know, nothing happened at the gas station. So that is part one of our first RV road trip. Stay tuned for part two, a kind stranger, and a blown out tire. So at this point in time, I was not planning on blogging about my traveling experiences yet. I decided that a few months in. So at this point, I had no footage of our travels, but I realized that James had captured this whole crazy experience on his dash cam, but lost the footage somehow. So we could have seen this on video and look back. I mean, now it's funny, but at the time we were terrified.